Imagine a place where all the weight you carry simply disappears, a safe space where your fears cannot enter, your anxieties lose their power, and peace envelops you like a warm embrace. Now close your eyes for a moment and visualize this peace. Can you feel it? If so, stay with me until the end of this video, because today we will not only seek that refuge, but we will inhabit it. And whoever dwells in the presence of God finds true protection and rest. Get ready for a journey that could change the course of your day, perhaps your life. Before we move on, I want to ask for something special. If you know someone who is going through a difficult time, share this video with them. You can be the bridge to the peace she seeks. Now open your heart, because let's dive into Psalm 91 together. It's more than just old words on a page. It is a living promise, ready to surround us with divine protection. And no matter where you are or what you are facing, God is greater. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Let these words echo within you. Close your eyes if you need to. Take a deep breath, because this is the starting point of our journey of faith. There is a powerful message here. It is not just about visiting God's presence in times of despair, but about dwelling in it, making it your home. But what does it really mean to dwell in the presence of God? You may think, I've prayed before, but my problems continue. I've asked for help, but I haven't seen an immediate change. If you've ever felt this way, know that you're not alone. The secret is not just seeking God when we are desperate, but staying connected to Him daily. When we make God our constant refuge, something powerful happens. The world around us may remain chaotic, but within us, an inexplicable peace takes over. It's not that problems magically disappear, but fear loses its power, anxiety loses control, and hope is reborn. Let's continue. He will surely save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and wall. Can you imagine this? God covering you with His wings, like an eagle protects its young from the storm. Beneath these wings you find a safe haven. No matter how strong the wind or how violent the rain, you are protected. But perhaps you are asking yourself, why then do I still feel afraid? Why do I still suffer if God is protecting me? Here's the key point. Divine protection does not mean the absence of problems, but rather the presence of God in the midst of them. When you dwell in the refuge of the Most High, challenges may come, but you will not be destroyed, because your strength does not come from the outside world, but from the power that is within you. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. This part of the psalm is incredibly powerful because it addresses the fears that attack us when we are most vulnerable. The terror of the night can be that silent anxiety that steals our sleep. The arrow that flies during the day could be a word of criticism or an unexpected situation. The plague that walks in the darkness could be that unknown fear of the future. But here's the promise: we need not fear. When we trust God, He surrounds us with supernatural protection. Even if 1,000 fall to our side and 10,000 to our right, it will not reach us. Imagine this scene: a battlefield around you, chaos on all sides, but you remain untouchable, because God is on your side. I know you might be thinking, but how can I believe that when life is so hard? How can we trust that promise when everything seems to fall apart? And here's the most important point. Faith is not based on what we see, but on what we believe. God has not promised that we will never face difficulties, but He has promised that He will never leave us alone. For He will command His angels concerning you, to keep you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Have you ever stopped to think how many times you were protected without even realizing it? How many accidents were avoided? How many dangerous situations did you not even see because God had already sent His angels to protect you? This does not mean that we will never experience tribulations, but it does mean that there is active protection, even in the small things. Think about that moment when you felt an inexplicable urge to wait before crossing the street, or that time you changed paths for no reason, and then discovered something dangerous had happened where you were. These little signs are reminders of God's presence. Now pay attention to the next words. You will tread on the lion and the snake, will trample the great lion and the serpent. This is a symbol of authority. No matter how threatening the enemy, God has given you the power to overcome it. The lion represents fierce and visible threats. The snake, the sneaky dangers, the ones you can't see coming. But you have authority over both. And if you still doubt God's love, listen to what he says next. Because he loves me, I will redeem him. I will protect him, for he knows my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. When you call on God, he answers. Maybe not in the way you expect, but he always responds. And he promises to be with you in trouble. This is so important. God doesn't just deliver us from pain. He enters the pain with us, walks alongside us, and leads us out of it. With long life, I will satisfy you and show you my salvation. This is the ultimate promise. A full life, not just in terms of years, but in quality. A life where you not only survive, but flourish, where you experience peace, love, and divine protection every day. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to type Amen in the comments. And if you need prayer, share it with us. Together, let us cry out for this divine protection. May God's grace and peace be with you always. Life is full of moments of uncertainty. Maybe you're walking through one of them right now, where everything around you feels unstable, as if every step could trigger something unexpected. It's times like these when we ask ourselves, where is God when I need him most? If this question has already crossed your mind, I want to invite you to stay with me until the end of this message. Because today, through the Word of God, we will uncover a spiritual secret that can transform your heart and bring you the hope you are seeking. Before continuing, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do so now. Here, we seek not only to inspire, but to walk alongside you in moments of struggle and victory. Now take a deep breath. Imagine you are walking through a dark valley, not knowing what is coming next. But in the distance, a light begins to shine, small but constant. This light is the presence of God, which never goes out, even when we cannot see it clearly. And this light guides us to the safe haven. No evil shall overtake you, no misfortune shall come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. Stop for a moment and think about the magnitude of this promise. God is not saying that you will never go through difficult situations, but that you will not be destroyed by them. The winds may blow, but your house will remain standing. The secret is to trust that God is in control, even when everything seems out of place. But how can we live this truth in everyday life? How can we trust a promise when the problems seem bigger than our faith? Here's the key. It's in the midst of the storm that faith is refined. It's not about not being afraid. It's about not letting fear paralyze us. And for that, we need to remember who is by our side. They will lift you up on their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. God's angels are constantly working on our behalf. You may not see it, but they are there, picking you up when you stumble, warding off dangers you don't even realize. Have you ever felt that sudden relief after a moment of tension, as if something had lifted a weight from your shoulders? This is no coincidence. God is working, even in silence. You will tread on the lion and the snake, will trample the great lion and the serpent. Here God reminds us of the authority we have through him. The lion represents visible and immediate threats, the problems that stare us in the face. The snake symbolizes hidden dangers, those that sneak up on us and can take us by surprise. But in both cases, God has given us the power to overcome. Perhaps today you are facing a lion, a financial crisis, a health problem, or a family conflict. Or maybe it's a snake, something quieter like anxiety, doubt, or fear of the future. Regardless of the type of challenge, you are not alone. And God doesn't just promise to protect you, it empowers you to face and win. Because he loves me, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he knows my name. Pay attention to this part. God is speaking directly to you. If you love him, if you seek him, he will rescue you. This is a personal promise, not a generic one. When you surrender to God, He not only protects you, but honors you, places you in prominent places. Even when the world forgets you, God sees you. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Can you feel the depth of this verse? God does not say you will never face trouble, but he promises to be with you through it. This means that when the tears stream down your face and you feel like no one understands what you are going through, God is there with you, wiping away every tear, whispering to your heart, I am here. And when the right time comes, he will deliver you. Not in our human time, which so often wants immediate results, but in God's perfect time, where every detail is aligned for our good. With long life, I will satisfy you and show you my salvation. This final promise is like a whisper of hope. God doesn't just want you to live many years. He wants you to live well, with purpose, with joy, with peace. And above all, he wants to show your salvation in every area of your life. Perhaps you are seeking financial, emotional, or spiritual salvation. God has the power to act in each of these areas. But remember, the greatest salvation is knowing that, regardless of the circumstances of this world, our soul is safe in him. If this message touched your heart, write "I trust in God" in the comments. Declare this in faith, and if you know someone who needs this word, share this video. Let's trust in divine protection together, because when we dwell in the presence of God, it doesn't matter how big the storm is, peace always prevails. Today we reach the culmination of this spiritual journey. If you have stuck with me this far, prepare to experience a powerful closure, as we are not just ending a moment of reflection, but declaring an eternal truth. You are protected, loved, and guided by Almighty God. Now take a deep breath, because the best is yet to come. Imagine yourself in front of a closed door. Behind it is the peace you seek, the rest your soul longs for. You have the key in your hands. That key is faith. And by opening this door, you are not just entering a temporary environment of relief. You are moving to a place where chaos has no power over you. 1,000 will fall at your side, 10,000 at your right, but you will not be struck. This verse is a promise of divine protection. You may look around and see storms, tragedies, and difficulties, but God is saying that none of these will destroy you. This doesn't mean you won't feel the strong winds or hear the crashing of the waves, but it does mean that your life is anchored on the rock, and that rock is Christ. Perhaps you are asking yourself, why then do I still suffer? The answer is profound but liberating. God uses moments of pain to strengthen our faith. Every challenge is an opportunity to see his power acting in our lives. Have you ever noticed how it is in difficulties that we become stronger? How is it in struggle that we learn to trust not in our own strength, but in God's strength? Only with your eyes will you behold and see the punishment of the wicked. God is saying that you don't have to fight with your own hands. Spiritual battles are not won by our strength, but by faith in the God who fights for us. How many times have we tried to resolve things on our own and ended up even more exhausted? Today, God calls you to rest in him and trust that justice will come at the right time. Because you have made the Lord your refuge and the Most High your dwelling, no evil shall befall you, neither shall any plague come near your tent. Here God teaches us that protection is not just about the physical world. There is a spiritual dimension where emotional and spiritual plagues try to invade our lives. Depression, anxiety, doubt. But when we make God our refuge, these plagues cannot prosper. They may try to enter, but they do not find space to take root, because the heart that dwells in God is protected. Now imagine angels surrounding you. This is not a figure of speech. It is a biblical promise. God orders his angels to guard you. They are there, even if you don't see them, warding off dangers and preparing the path ahead of you. They will lift you up on their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. How many times have you been spared from situations that could have been devastating? How many times have you escaped from something without even realizing there was danger? This is God taking care of you in the details, sending his angels to ensure that even when you stumble, you will not fall to the point of destruction. You will tread on the lion and the serpent. You will tread on the young lion and the serpent. This is a statement of authority. You are not destined to live in fear. God gave you the authority to step on the threats that once paralyzed you. The lion represents visible and frightening problems. The serpent, the hidden and treacherous dangers. In both cases, you have the victory through Christ. Now listen carefully. Because he loves me, I will rescue him. I will protect you because you know my name. God is saying that your love for him is what activates this protection. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to love him sincerely. When you call his name, he answers. When you are in trouble, he comes to you. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and glorify him. That's a direct promise. God doesn't just watch you from afar. He enters into anguish with you. He walks beside you, and when the moment is right, he delivers you. But it's not just a simple deliverance. He puts you in a place of honor. What once brought you shame, God turns into testimony. With long life, I will satisfy you and show you my salvation. God's salvation is not just about the future in heaven. It's something we can experience now. He wants to show you salvation in your family, in your work, in your relationships. He wants you to live a full and satisfied life. Now, I want to invite you to make a declaration of faith. In the comments, write, "I choose to dwell in the presence of God." Declare this with conviction, because when you choose this place of refuge, there is no storm that can shake you. If you know someone who needs this message, share this video. Remember, you can be the instrument that God uses to transform someone else's life. Thank you for being here with me until now. May God's peace, love, and protection always be upon you. See you in the next message.